Welcome back for another deep dive with us. This time we are taking a look at Onyx and Sapphire, a brand new album that's causing quite a stir.
It's generating a lot of buzz for sure.
Yeah, and we've got this really interesting blog post directly from the creators themselves, TATANKA. And it's full of, well, a lot of fascinating details. They're describing it as a modern take on Ravel's Bolero.
Okay.
And the way it's structured is really unique. They've got like 15 tracks that all kind of build toward this huge crescendo.
So it's like they've taken this classic piece, Bolero, and used it as a framework for their own, I guess, modern love story.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's a passionate love story, so each track kind of represents like a different phase in this relationship.
Oh, wow. I'm already intrigued.
And like on top of all of that, TATANKA is like super into AI, and they're actually weaving that into their music creation process.
Really? How does that even work? Like, how does AI play into this?
You know, it's pretty mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
So, for people who maybe haven't heard of Ravel's Bolero, it's this piece of music that starts really subtly.
Okay.
And then it just builds and builds.
Like layer by layer.
Layer by layer.
Yeah.
And then it reaches this just massive climax.
Oh, I see.
So it seems like TATANKA is kind of using that same approach
Okay.
to depict this escalating passion of this love story.
Okay, so it's not just about like a steady increase in intensity.
Right. It's more like they're playing with these peaks and valleys, like the ebb and flow you experience in a relationship.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So speaking of peaks and valleys, they've actually given us a little sneak peek of the album's sound with the first track called Her Whisper.
Okay.
We've got a little snippet of it right here from the blog post.
Okay, let's hear it.
Get ready to hear this.
All right.
So that little snippet, I think, gives us a really good glimpse into the sound world they've created.
Yeah, it's got that like smoky jazz, almost a little bit of trip hop in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really interesting.
It's a perfect match for how they described it in the post. They called it smoky, sultry, slow burn tension.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description, I'd say. So what about the lyrics?
The lyrics are equally captivating. They actually shared the lyrics for Her Whisper in the blog post as well. And like there's this one line, she walked in like a tender breeze at night, her eyes held galaxies soft and bright.
Wow.
I mean, you get this instant feeling of awe
Yeah, like being completely captivated.
by this woman's presence.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than just like, outward appearance.
Okay.
They describe her as a quiet power, a gentle tide. It's like suggesting something deep.
More profound.
Yeah.
About the way she affects everything around her.
It's such a beautiful metaphor. Like, the way a tide reshapes the landscape without making a sound.
Hey.
But okay, let's bring it back to TATANKA for a second.
Okay.
And their mission, because remember, they're not just a music group.
Right.
They're really vocal about, diversity, equity, inclusion. Yeah, DEI. And they're even connecting their work to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs.
Wow. So they're weaving those concepts into their music.
Which is, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how they're merging music with a deeper purpose.
Yeah.
It's like Onyx and Sapphire might be more than just a love story, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a commentary on something bigger.
Like the need for more understanding.
Yeah, or connection.
Connection in the world.
Yeah.
And to drive that point home even further,
Okay.
they included these quotes at the bottom of the blog post from Sitting Bull.
Really? I'm curious how that fits in.
I was a little surprised by it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure I totally understand how, like, Sitting Bull's quotes fit in with this, sultry, jazz-infused love story.
Yeah.
Maybe you can help me connect the dots a little bit.
Yeah, so for those who maybe don't know, Sitting Bull was a Lakota Sioux chief.
Right.
Really powerful leader.
Yeah.
Fought for the rights of his people. And his words a lot of time emphasized like respect for all beings
Okay.
and working together for a better future.
I see. So TATANKA is drawing inspiration from that vision.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, this is who we are. This is what we believe in.
And this is what informs our art.
Exactly. Like they're not shying away from taking a stand.
It's kind of like blurring the lines between art and activism, right?
Yeah, it's like they see music as a platform
Yeah.
to advocate for their values.
Okay, so that definitely adds another dimension to how we listen to this.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack. We have this album, Onyx and Sapphire, which on the surface seems like a pretty, straightforward, passionate love story told through the lens of Ravel's Bolero. But then we have AI potentially influencing the music. And then we have TATANKA bringing in these themes of social justice and global responsibility.
It is a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
So can an album be both a passionate love story and a call for social change?
It's a great question.
Yeah, let's explore that further as we dive deeper.
Into Onyx and Sapphire.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder how all of these, I don't know, seemingly different elements, like a passionate love story and like cutting-edge AI and then quotes from Sitting Bull,
I know, it's like a lot.
all come together in this album.
Right. It's like they're trying to create this like multi-layered experience where the music is just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, if we consider the bolero structure, which builds in intensity throughout, we might anticipate that like each track like represents a different stage in the relationship.
Oh. Okay, so like maybe the early tracks capture that initial spark, like the excitement and uncertainty of new love.
Yeah.
And then as the album progresses, we get into those like deeper, more complex emotions.
Exactly, yeah. And the musical styles, they could shift too to reflect those changes. Like maybe we hear moments of like pure joy and ecstasy, but also like some darker, more melancholic passages that mirror the challenges and like the complexities of a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? But remember, TATANKA is playing with those peaks and valleys, so it might not be a simple linear progression.
Right, yeah. That's what makes it so interesting, right?
Yeah.
And, okay, so the bolero structure suggests there's going to be this huge climax. But do you think maybe TATANKA might, like, subvert our expectations a little?
Ooh, how so?
Like, maybe the album ends on a quiet note, suggesting that love's true power lies in its subtlety?
That's a really interesting thought. It would certainly challenge, like, the traditional narrative of a grand, passionate climax.
Yeah. And then there's the AI layer. Knowing that TATANKA embraces this technology, it's very possible that, some of the musical textures, the arrangements, even the melodies themselves could be, I don't know, influenced by AI in ways we might not even recognize.
Right, yeah. Think of it this way, like, imagine an AI algorithm, sifting through this massive database of, like, musical styles and patterns and, like, helping TATANKA create something truly unique.
And unexpected.
Unexpected, yeah.
It's like having this, co-writer from another dimension. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And then to, like, layer that onto this already intricate love story,
Yeah.
I mean, they're really pushing the boundaries of what music can express.
It really makes you think about the future of music creation, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, are we more impressed by human ingenuity? Or are we open to the idea that AI can be like a creative force in its own right?
Right.
Like, those are questions we'll probably be grappling with more and more as AI becomes even more sophisticated.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, for now, let's bring it back to Onyx and Sapphire. And those quotes from Sitting Bull.
Okay.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, how those fit into the bigger picture.
Yeah, remember his words often emphasize things like respect, understanding, and like a connection to something, I don't know, larger than ourselves.
Right.
So maybe TATANKA is using this love story as a metaphor for something bigger.
You mean like a love that extends beyond, like, just two people?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe like a love for humanity, for the planet?
Right, for all living things. Yeah, like a love for all living things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it could be their subtle way of weaving those themes of social justice and global responsibility into the narrative of the album.
Okay, that makes sense. And perhaps that's where like the DEI and SDG elements really come in. It's not just about like, a passionate love story, but about a love that can like inspire change and create a better world.
It's a bold statement, right?
Yeah.
That love can be a powerful force for good.
Yeah.
And it challenges us to think about the potential of music to be more than just entertainment.
It's like they're saying, hey, listen closely. There's more going on here than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to dive into the album with a completely different mindset.
Yeah, it's a bit like having a secret decoder ring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like knowing TATANKA's intentions, like their values, it helps us unlock a deeper layer of meaning in the music.
Right. So we've talked about the bolero structure, the potential role of AI, and this like intriguing connection to Sitting Bull's message. But like the big question remains.
Yeah.
What's that?
How does all of this knowledge affect our, like, personal experience of the music?
Right. Does it enhance our enjoyment, or does it, like, create a kind of filter that, like, alters our perception?
I don't know. That's something we'll have to explore as we, like, continue this deep dive.
Yeah.
So let's move on and see what other insights we can uncover about Onyx and Sapphire.
Yeah, it's like we've been given this, like, behind-the-scenes look at their creative process.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of left wondering how much that influences our own, take on it.
It's a question I think every art enthusiast grapples with.
Yeah.
Does knowing the artist's intent, add to the experience?
Yes.
Or does it, color it in ways that weren't intended?
Right.
There's really no right answer.
And maybe it's not even about, enhancing it or detracting. It's
Yeah.
just about, experiencing it on a different level.
Yeah, think of it this way. You can appreciate a painting purely for its visual beauty,
Yeah.
right? But if you know the artist's backstory, their struggles, their inspirations, it can add a whole new layer of depth and meaning to the artwork.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like reading a book and then finding out the author based it on their own life experiences.
Right?
And suddenly it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, it gives the story a whole new dimension.
Yeah. So it
good.
doesn't invalidate the initial experience.
Yeah.
It's just enriches it with a different perspective.
Exactly.
So with Onyx and Sapphire, we've got this added layer of TATANKA's mission, their use of AI and their connection to Sitting Bull's message.
Right.
And it's really up to each listener to decide, I think, how they want to incorporate that knowledge into their listening experience.
Some might choose to just let the music wash over them. Focusing on the melodies, the rhythms, the emotions that it evokes.
Yeah.
Others might find themselves listening more analytically, searching for those deeper layers of meaning that we've been discussing.
It's all part of the fun, right? I mean,
Yeah.
music is so personal and subjective.
Yeah, absolutely. What moves one person, might not resonate with another.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way to listen.
Exactly.
The important thing is to be open, curious, and willing to let the music take you where it wants to go.
Yeah, I love that. So, okay, to kind of wrap up this deep dive into Onyx and Sapphire,
Okay.
we've explored a lot of interesting territory. We started with this really intriguing concept, this modern reimagining of Ravel's Bolero that kind of chronicles the journey of a passionate love affair.
Yeah, and we delved into the captivating sounds and evocative lyrics of Her Whisper,
Right.
getting a taste of the album's unique vibe and the emotions it promises to explore.
And we kind of uncovered this fascinating world of TATANKA,
Yeah.
the creators behind the music. We
Yeah.
discovered their commitment to social justice, their exploration of AI and music creation, and their kind of unexpected connection to Sitting Bull's legacy.
So as you embark on your own listening journey with Onyx and Sapphire, keep all of this in mind. Consider how TATANKA's mission and values might be reflected in the music, how the use of AI might shape the soundscapes, and how your own knowledge and perspectives color your interpretation.
Does knowing the artist's intention, enhance your connection? Or does it create a certain bias? It's a question worth pondering as you experience the album for yourself.
Yeah, and perhaps that's the most valuable takeaway from this deep dive. It's not just about gaining a deeper understanding of this particular album.
Right.
It's about becoming more conscious, more critical listeners of all music.
I love that because music is so much more than just sounds and rhythms, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a reflection of our culture, our values, our hopes and dreams.
Exactly.
And by engaging with it thoughtfully,
yeah.
we can enrich our lives and deepen our understanding of the world around us.
So keep exploring, keep listening, and keep those deep dives going. There's a whole world of musical treasures out there waiting to be discovered.
And who knows, maybe our next deep dive will be inspired by your suggestions. So let us know what music you'd like us to explore. Until then, happy listening.